Chances are, if you're a regular listener of the show, you've probably heard me talk about the Wellness Company. And if you are, and you've heard me talk about the Wellness Company, you've probably heard me talk about their medical kits, like the medical emergency kit, the travel kit, and the first aid kit, among others. But you probably haven't heard me talk about all the other amazing stuff that the Wellness Company has. Supplements like Spike Support, Healthy Heart, Restful Sleep, Z-Stack, which is an immune system strengthening vitamin blend, Elevated Energy, which helps you improve your energy and focus, Blood Sugar Balance, which is natural maintenance for healthy blood sugar levels, Natural Immunity, which basically strengthens your immune system with antioxidants and various botanicals, and they even have Kids Spike Support. That's right, a Spike Support supplement designed specifically for kids, among many, many others. Check out the Wellness Company today, twc.health/freemind. Make sure you're in control of yours and your family's health future, whether it's with a kit like the medical emergency kit or any number of their amazing supplements. You can save big money if you use my link, twc.health/freemind. Go there today. Maj Toure.
My brother up, Dave, man? How are you?
Dude, I have to say, first and foremost, you are the first three-peat interview on Free Mind. So congratulations for whatever that's worth. You're definitely one of my favorite people to talk to, bro.
I'm Jordan in 96.
That's right. That's right, man. So what's been going on, dude? I think it's been probably a year or close to it since you've been on here. And last time we were talking about Joe Rogan saying the N-word and everything popping off with that. And that quickly died down right afterwards. And, on to the next thing in the news cycle. But what's good with you, man? What's been happening?
Yeah. Since then, I've caught a gun case. I've been traveling around. I went to Miami for a few months and lived on a garden to learn how to grow food. Whoa. That's an easy thing to say. You can't learn everything about growing food in 2 months, but
right.
There's some great guys down in Miami doing this thing called the Green Haven Project, where they teach people in the community of Overtown to grow food, and they give the food away for free. So they're doing some good work. I went over there to lend them a hand. Huge shouts to Jorge, Legacy, and David. Those guys are really, really good guys. And I just been working and kind of like rounding the last leg of fundraising for buying the Solutionary Center. I'm in the Solutionary Center now. And that's really pretty much all I've been doing, man. We got 200 and maybe $29,000 more to raise. I'm getting to this point where low key sometimes when things take the longest, you are tempted to do what you normally do. And I'm low key tempted to just go, all right, I'll just pay for it myself. But that's not really to get us over the hump. But that's not really been the whole purpose. And for the earlier $750,000 that we've raised, it's been all people and small businesses and some bigger companies. But just the people, just galvanizing it and getting the people excited about this upcoming, their involvement outside of just this election season. But obviously we're coming into an election, we're in an election year going into an election season, but just getting, sniping the easy targets when I can, when people's minds are a little bit more open. We can have that conversation about politics and kind of steer them in a local way, as well as much as they're involved in the national side of it. So that's been me for the last year or so. And, I would not dare complain at all. I got 10 fingers and 10 toes.
Amen, brother. All right. So a few things in there. First off, tell me about this charge, because I've been following you obviously online, but for my listeners, actually real quick, Maj, if you haven't listened to our first 2 episodes, go back and listen to those because they're fantastic. But Maj is the founder of Black Guns Matter. The Solutionary thing is technically separate from Black Guns Matter, correct? Or is it one and the same?
It's one and the same, but I just needed a vehicle to do things with people that weren't like were afraid of firearms, and I just needed to engage them. And like even down to like going to the gym, right? Getting people to say, yo, if you don't want to train this way, like go to the range or do bill drills or, do dry practice. Yo, how about you just get in shape? How about you, jog? How about you lift weights? How about you work on some cardio? And so that starts to encompass the firearms thing is a part of this overall solutionary lifestyle.
Right.
If you can't defend yourself, if you can't make money, if you can't, if your health is bad, you're going to have bigger issues than whether you can have a gun or not.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the solutionary component, but it's not in opposition to each other, but it actually helps because doing classes at the center about yoga and then having maybe a firearms class right after that, and people are going like, yo, what are those? Yeah, we do that too here. So the worlds are kind of like, it's like my life is a big crossover episode, and so that's kind of like the difference between those two.
Dude, that's interesting. Yoga people and firearms coming together. I just had like a funny mental image of that. But all right, so that's a little background on Maj. Like I said, you guys should just listen to our other episodes because we go off on all kinds of stuff. But you are a huge gun rights advocate. And I know that, one of the central premises of what you talk about is basically gun control is one of the most heinous forms of racism in the United States. And a lot of people don't look at it that way. And you talk about that a lot. So everybody should follow Maj if you don't already. Chances are you probably do if you follow me. But all right, tell me about this gun charge because I've been following along and everything, but my listeners might not know. But can you walk us through that?
Yeah, I was doing Tom Woods' podcast for his subscribers to him. Huge shouts to Tom Woods because when this all went down, he held up on the episode until he heard from me, which was he didn't have to, and he did that. But back to the story, I was in North Philly, and I was literally doing a podcast for his subscribers, and I was like, I'm always a fan of like, yo, let's do the podcast where we are. Right now, I'm in the Solutionary Center. I'm in the middle of North Philly. At that time, I was in a different part of North Philly, and I'm like, yo, y'all got to come outside because this is why libertarianism needs to be targeted for, no pun intended, in this demographic, and we were having this discussion, and some of the people kind of were like chopping it up, and it was just his subscribers, so it was behind the paywall, but they were like, yo, man, I don't know if it's really that bad in urban America, and it's easy for somebody to say that as it relates to violation of our rights. It's easy for somebody to say that, the police in your community aren't over-policing you, especially if you live in a rural area. The law enforcement and sheriffs and deputies there, they know Steve, they know Karen, they know, whoever. So it's a different thing.
Karen.
And as we were having Karen, right? As we were having this discussion, law enforcement pulled up in front of me and said, yo, you got a license for that? Mind you, I was printing. I was concealed, but I was printing. And I ignored him because I don't want to have a conversation, and I'm not obligated to have a conversation with law enforcement. There has been no probable cause, and that's just that. And this is all being filmed. Tom Woods has all of the footage. It's like, And so I ignored him again. He hops out. He pulls his firearm and points it at me and says, don't run. And so I get arrested for having a firearm without a license. Everyone knows that the Second Amendment is what it is. And I all of those other 20,000 unconstitutional statutes are unconstitutional. And I don't submit to those at all. And so, I got arrested. They initially tried to give me $1 million bail. I do not have an extensive criminal history. I have been convicted of selling DVDs over 10 or however many years ago. And they said, we want $1 million bail. And the person was like, the little magistrate, that's your defense, for lack of a better term, was like, that's excessive. And they was like, okay, cool, make it $75,000. So I posted the $7,500 bail. And it's interesting, that whole process. I hadn't been arrested in so long that I forgot. Now there's COVID restrictions. So I had to wind up spending 3 days or the weekend in jail. Because if you don't post bail before the bus comes to take you on the weekend, to take you up to, State Road or CFCF, is what it's called, you got to be there. And so even though I had a bail, I didn't post the bail. So I had to go there. Then they're doing quarantine like it's COVID still. So I had to do that whole weekend and then, got out of there. And I'm fighting that. They've offered me 6 months in jail. I respectfully declined. And they keep pushing my court case back. So it's just more opportunity in my perspective for me to do more and more work. This is why I keep harping on everybody, man. We need to buy this Solutionary Center. Huge shouts to the owner of the building that has agreed to sell it to us. At the same time, I want to hurry up and get that bread to him fast. And that's another reason why earlier when I said sometimes we go to what we're used to. Usually we, especially guys, we go to, I'll do it myself. I'll cut into my own money and I'll whatever. That means I have total control over it. And I do not want to have total control over BGM. I want the people to determine, just like the classes that we go to, the events that we put on. Hey, Maj, if I donate $1,000, can you do this? I like working for y'all. Otherwise, I become the monarch. That's just the reality. And I can't say I'm about a constitutional republic and not implement that in my practices and the thing that, I'm known for in the world. So saying that to say, I want to hurry up and try to raise as much of the bread. We got about, like I said, about maybe a little under $230,000 left. For those that don't know, before you guys go back and watch the other episodes, all $750,000 that we've raised over the years has been completely crowdfunded. And in the beginning, people was like, sure, you're going to raise money and give it away. And we gave it away. And so now with the remainder, we want to buy this building and we want to secure all of the in-person classes because those are free, whether that's Stop the Bleed, whether that's, obviously firearms basics, whether that's yoga, whether it's at the Solutionary Center and abroad. All of the classes that we do are 100% free to the people because collectively others have decided to pay it forward. And that's a good balance between an individual choosing to voluntarily pay it forward for someone else, that's the individual, that's voluntarism, that's a collective benefit, and that's people seeing exactly where the money went. And so I think that level of transparency is important. And that's why getting this case, I didn't get it pushed back. They pushed it back a few times. And doing that, we need about 2,300 more $100 donors. And if we look at it that way, it is not such an insurmountable task. And I am resisting the urge to just do it myself, but it cannot, it's just like Jim example. Someone teaches you the proper form to do something. And for however long you were throwing weight, not concentrating on isolating that muscle group. And if you're not careful, your habits will kick back in and you'll just do it the way that you normally do it. And so I'm really at the tail end of this, really trying to make sure that we cross the finish line. And it is a group of individuals operating as a collective for the benefit of the community and then show that can be a model that can happen and be in other cities. So that's kind of what happened with the case. That's the opportunity that we get from having the case. I also am thinking seriously about the case is going to get thrown out, but I'm also thinking seriously about a civil suit and see how that goes. But, you never know.
Yeah, dude, that's beautiful, though. Just everything you're doing with the Solutionary Center and the fact that it's free to the people to come in and participate. Do you get what's the attendance like? What does it look like on a day-to-day basis? Is it busy?
If I say we're doing something, people show up.
Right.
I've been trying to be less hands-on, but I noticed that I am the draw, and so it is what it is. Now the online classes are jumping, but I think that we have to do a better job at the center of, I don't think people understand, they don't believe it. I think when I say, hey, if you teach a class, you can come use the center for free. You can come just teach the class and there's no strings attached. I remember years ago, when my mother was I had caught this case when I was like fresh out of high school. And I got bailed out and my mom was out of town. My mom was in Jamaica and she was like, listen, you can go to the crib, but there's nothing on there. And I was like, that's cool. She was like, well, I was going to clean out the garage, do a garage sale. So I was like, I want a couple bucks, but I just want the garage to be empty so I can do my workout thing in there. And so I started putting up a sign that said free stuff at this yard sale. This yard sale, people came and looked at the stuff and didn't take it. And after a day or two, I put up a sign that said $5 stuff. And some of those same people came back when it was $5 stuff and bought it at $5. Then a few days later, I made the sign say $10 stuff, and people came back and bought it at $10. Some of the same people that recognized it for free. My point there was, I think that people are operating the same way here. They don't really believe kind of that there's no catch. You just come teach a class at the center for free. If you want to do a paid event, you can book the Solutionary Center, but you have to do a class for free until you can save. And you don't even have to pay when you want to do pay events. We take 25% of what you take. So if you get $1,000 off of selling tickets and that's it, just give us $250 and you can use the space. We're not going to charge you. It's a concept that a lot of people struggle with because they're not used to people just saying, hey, I want to help serve. I want to actually be a community center.
Right.
And so when I push and consistently tell people, then people tap in. But I can't be mad because, I mean, we've had financial experts come. We've had legal experts do classes. We've had Crystal Teeny, who's like a super duper yoga person, teach classes here. We've had Adrian Norman, who done some real estate stuff, that did a class for real estate here. There's just so many options. And so getting this one last thing out of the way, this case, and then buying the building will give me a lot more room to kind of flex a lot more, my muscles a little bit more in that sense. But I in no way, shape, or form would I dare complain, man. We have a location that we can teach the people. We've had people come and just need somewhere to sit while they're waiting for the bus, and we can bring chairs out and people can sit down. And people don't think about stuff like that. But if you've been standing for a long time and somebody gives you a chair, you know what I'm saying? That's like a great service that, if you choose to view it that way. And that's the way that I view it. I'm a public servant. So, you know.
No, dude, I love it. I think that, I really do think that once you get it where you want it, it'll just be a model for other urban areas. And it's funny because I was listening to a Rogan episode recently. I can't remember who the guest was, but Joe, occasionally he'll start talking about inner cities and things like that, and like what he thinks needs to happen. And in a lot of ways, he's basically describing what you're doing. As far as like teaching financial literacy and, fitness, how to protect yourself, responsibility, like all these things that actually will change someone's life, like empower the individual to then go out in the world and do something of value. And it's just cool to hear that he's talking about it, but you're doing it. It would be cool.
I believe that my time will come to be on Rogan so we can talk about these last 6 or 7 years of what has been happening and what I've seen.
That would be.
I low-key think some people kind of hated on me, and that's why I haven't been on Rogan. It's too many people that I know that have been on that show too many times that I've seen say, yo, you should have Maj on, and it just hasn't happened. But who knows? You never know. That dude's busy and stuff. But I just think that it's really kind of like a rite of passage program for community members. It's how do I get in shape? How do I get in financial shape? How do I control my emotions? How do I recognize my emotions? All of the things that a lot of times leftists will say is like, oh, we need to go to therapy. Like, to a certain extent, I agree with some of those things. And that therapy may be, am I thinking and processing about the things that I'm doing when I'm in the gym? We hear the joke about guys going like, yo, I go to the gym to fight my demons. And that's partially true. It's like, this is the moment.
It's so true.
You know what I mean? And it's like just getting people to recognize that this is all really kind of like self-improvement and self-development. And I used to shy away from that because there was so many like people that I thought were kind of like on some charlatan shit. Like I kind of would be like, whatever. But when done properly, dudes like yourself that have stories that like, yo, this is the business that I built and sold. This is where I work out. This is me. This is how this has changed my life as a father, as a husband. these are the stories that this is our agoge in urban America. This is our, like, you have to go through these trials, or at least set up in these trials. Even if you had the kid first, there's things that you can do to self-improve and self-develop. And I've been really, really inadvertently, you mentioned earlier about the solutionary brand, and it's inadvertently kind of going that way. And I was so opposed to that, because I'm like, man, get out of here, self-help. And it's like, in hindsight, when done properly, that is exactly what a lot of these, more specifically young men, not isolating it away from the women, but like a lot of these young men and these communities really, really kind of need that. And if we can make that space available to them, you know what I'm saying? It just adds to it. So I would 1000%, love to go on any platform to talk about this shit, because, all right, cool, I could teach you how to put holes in shit. That's actually not that difficult.
Right.
But like, getting you on a holistic approach to developing your life based on, hey, these are the 8 mistakes that I made. Here's how they f me up. Don't do them. Do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are things that are like, we can save a lot of young people a lot of time, and time, we don't get any of that back. So like, I don't know. One of my homegirls that I went to the gym with, she's kind of fat, and I'm gonna edit this part and say it. I'm gonna make sure that I know she knows that I'm talking about her. She's kind of fat, and she used to be slim, and she's really recognizing, like, damn, bro, like, my metabolism was like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And just seeing the hard work, and she's like, yo, this is not the gym. And I'm like, exactly, it is, but it ain't. And getting her to be like, yo, this is really about, am I an addict? Am I addicted to food? Do I not have a certain level of self-control? And where is that showing up in other areas of my life? And as a gun owner, I 1000% want people to walk through that journey and see, damn, maybe I respond to things a little too wild, because you're walking around with the power of death on your hip, or in your abdomen, whichever way you carry. And having people to have that conversation, and me being skilled in it, not because I'm a super duper smart dude, but just, your particular anecdotal and lived experiences. If other people can benefit from it, from so be it. But I used to struggle with that, because I used to see, like Tony Robbins, I always thought was like, I used to think, like, does this guy really, how the f does he know about my life? I mean, years ago, right?
Yeah. I've had the same thoughts.
Yeah.
But like you, man, I have come around a lot. And I think what it really comes down to is there's this negative connotation that we, prescribe to self-help, personal development, whatever the particular term is that you're using. But just like you said, at the end of the day, when it's done right, and when it's not done by someone who's really just trying to monetize people's despair and emotion, which a lot of these charlatans are trying to do, man. And someone who's actually done something, like yourself, like, a lot of the guys that I choose to follow, it's okay to call it self-help and personal development and all these things. I just think that you're just up against it a little bit, because so many people have tried to take advantage of that. And it's rough, because you talked about young men, and dude, I've been there, and I'm sure you've been there. As a young man, you're full of, if you came up the way I did, like anger and all these emotions, and you've got a certain level of pride just as a man in general, and you feel like you can't get ahead, and you don't know how to express that, and you don't know where to channel that. And it's like, I imagine just teaching these guys how to control that emotion and channel it into positive things. So for example, with me, Maj, I recognized in myself early on, I have an obsessive personality. It's just hardwired in me. So if I find something that I like, I'm all in on it, and I'll try to do it my best. That's good or bad. And that's why I never tried cocaine or any number of drugs, because I know dude, I know I'm going to love it. And then that's it. Like I'm spiraling out of control.
That's the battle that I'm having now with limiting. Like, okay, so a few months ago, I stopped drinking hard liquor. I
saw
drink
that.
wine.
I saw that. That's
Yeah,
right.
I drink wine. And I never, and I want to, like, I never was like, oh my God, I need to drink every day. It never was my thing. But when you go out, you meet people, you go to restaurants, I don't feel like cooking. I'm going to go, all right, give me a Long Island. Give me a shot of Booker's Bourbon. Give me a whatever. But for a while, I started going like, you know, man, am I seeing gains in the gym? And why not?
Mm-hmm.
How much water did I drink? Oh, well, I went to, I had a slight injury on a squat rack and I only had 3 plates on. And something happened and it was wrong with my back. I went to the chiropractor and he's like, you drink a lot of drinks and you drink a lot of coffee. And I'm like, how do you know that? And he's like, well, you see that fluid in between at the x-ray, you see that space in between those 2 discs? There's supposed to be a lot of fluid in between there.
Yeah.
Alcohol and caffeine drains that. And he's like, if you drink coffee, he's like, the drinking, that shit got to stop. And I'm like, all right, cool. Because it wasn't a like, I'm fiending, I need, you know. But then I started to recognize, then it was, you know, I obviously went through 75 hard with Andy's thing, and the gallon of water a day. And I'm just like, damn, like this is a different thing. And so, and obviously the no alcohol, but I would notice even like as recently as like last week, when something stressful happened, I was like, man, I'm going to get a drink. And I noticed, damn, this is a habit. It may not be alcoholism where I need the drink, but the fact that my brain was saying, go escape, or the whisper that I got last week was, you deserve a drink. I hadn't done shit yet. And it was just like, who the fuck is telling me I deserve a drink? What did you make an extra $5,000? Did you implement a plan? And like, did you hit the goal? What was the thing? And is it the day or time that you, because now I have a glass of wine. Shouts to Blood of Tyrants. But at the same time, I just started to recognize like, damn, I'm a pretty disciplined dude. And if I'm recognizing this and being pretty disciplined, there are people that have never consistently practiced any type of discipline, and they're having that feeling like a young man, and they don't have that outlet. Yep. They don't understand necessarily that, you know, in the Black community is generally not a lot of gyms, right? Other than corporate gyms, and they're always usually like on the outskirt, like right outside of the hood. But my point though is the concept of health and fitness and going to the gym and looking at that is as an outlet is 100% not discussed, or to the extent that it should be compared to the level of aggression, as well as it's also not something that, you know, someone could say, here's the physical component that you can work out on, and here's how you can gain mastery over your body by not eating certain things. And on top of that, here's a yoga asana or a posture that I want you to hold for 30 seconds. I want you to get a certain level of mastery over doing something difficult and simply saying, I'm going to finish. Because in the hood, it's, man, I ain't doing that. We inadvertently challenge ourselves the wrong way. Our challenge is, I don't have to listen to anybody. And I love that. The not having to submit to things that are not submissible to, I'm with that. But what happens is the inverse happens. It's you never listen to or restrict yourself in any way to anything, to any protocol, which means you don't understand jurisdiction. And if you don't understand jurisdiction, you can't really run a house, which means you definitely, you know, I posted something a few days ago. I said, hey, guys, what is something in your relationship that your woman is not allowed to do? And guys was about to get excited. And I was like, hey, ladies, what is something in your relationship that your man is not allowed to do? The point there was to have this conversation as it relates to restrictions and jurisdiction. No, we've communicated. These are the things that are our protocol and our standard for me to have respect for that person and for them to have respect for me. if I know what the jurisdictions are, I can really, really max out, because you told me what I can do and what I can't do. I mean, I'm not talking about like human rights. I'm talking more about like the protocols and civil engagement and so forth and so on. And all of those things being missing creates a system of chaos. I don't need somebody to tell me I shouldn't steal that iPhone out of the store. I just go, yo, that's somebody's hard-earned labor, and this isn't my jurisdiction, and it's not my property.
Yeah.
And even though I want that phone, yo, let me figure out a different way to sell some shit. Maybe I could get an affiliate program with Black Guns Matter or something and sell some t-shirts and whatever it is, right? These are the things that is that agoge, that system. And instead of harping, like I see so many, so-called conservatives do, instead of harping on these things are missing in the Black community, these things are missing in all communities.
Amen.
Like, it's just what it is. And so I just happen to live in a Black community. So, all right, I'll just do it here. And I think that when people see that, when those young guys that normally would throw trash in front of the building, or when I give them a quick basic firearm safety class right in front of the shop, and they're like, damn. And I talk to them and speak to them and, yo, you good? Have some tea. You want some tea? You come to this yoga class or whatever. Or just, man, come shoot at our virtual shooting simulator. You out here at night, come in here and shoot. You know what I mean? These are the things that we become almost like coaches or like low-key brothers or father figures or whatever for these groups of men and women that our communities 1000% need. And then getting them to be in alignment with being civically engaged and being a powerful person in their own right. That's an easy walk after I get them onboarded with the jurisdiction and harnessing their own power. When you tell young people self-restriction is the key to perfection, they understand it better. And then when you show them, yeah, that's mine right there. That RV, yeah, it was 200,000. Yeah, you can have one. Yo, come with me to the campgrounds. What you mean a campground? Like they gonna chop me up? Nah, man, come see. You know what I'm saying? Because these are things that when I bought the RV, I had never been to a campground before. And so these are the things. That's a long-winded response, but these are the things that the Solutionary Center, myself, and I hope to continue making sure that we're making available to these young men and women, and then we'll start to create more force multipliers, because that's what our communities need.
Yeah, man. And you made a really good point about how, look, I just happen to be in this community, so this is where I'm doing this, but all communities need those things, man. Yep. And like, I grew up in the rural South in a trailer park / homeless. My mom was a pillhead, my dad was a crackhead, and it was a lot of like white trash and a lot
the hood.
It was the hood, but and in the trailer park was actually a lot of Black people too. Like, all my friends were Black, but then like all the people my mom hung out with were pillheads and stuff. And there's this sense of like us versus them, right? Yeah. So, and I know that has to be the case in the hood as well. In true urban centers, it's like, man, why do I care about that? Like, I'm gonna go steal that iPhone. That's some fucking rich guy that doesn't give a shit about me. That it's us versus them. It's this feeling of us versus them. And for me, man, it didn't click until way later in life, just how flawed that thinking was. And I think conveying that to young people is real important too. I don't know if I'm putting it quite the right way, but I think you understand what I'm saying. It's like, you're not an alien to the, like, it's society, and how you fit into society is important. And you can choose to be an asset to making it a better place. You don't have to just say this, they don't care about me. And look, chances are they might not, and they probably don't. And that's okay too. But I don't know, man. It's just empowering when you realize you can actually have dominion.
Your power transcends what the invisible they.
Right.
Your power transcends what their plans for you are.
Exactly.
And I even contend that creating the thought process of the us versus them is a part of their playbook to make you think.
Yep.
You know, it's like, I remember when I started BGM and everybody, this happens and I make jokes. Every so often, somebody will say, I'm paid by somebody. And I've told
they say that you are?
Yeah. And I've told people, what my sellout number is. I've said it a bunch of times. It's $800 million. You don't have to shoot me, CIA. If I get too powerful, give me $800 million and I'm going to just stop talking. If you guys see me with, I won't mislead the people, but if you see me with a black and white Bentley Continental GT, just stop listening to me. It's over. It's just over. So I've been adamant about that. And I would have one Bentley if I was at least like, if the big bag had dropped, right? And you know, this isn't, you can sell like t-shirts and make millions upon millions of dollars. This is not like Converse is pretty much universally known for one pair of shoes.
Yep.
And that aren't really good unless you're doing legs at the gym. Like it's not,
that's right.
It's not a good shoe. Like as much as we like are like, yeah, Chucks, they're not. God bless the guys that played in the NBA with them joints on. Like, I don't know what y'all was doing, man. But yeah, it's not a good shoe.
Those dudes had some strong Achilles tendons.
Yeah. My point though is like, it's this thought process that Maj is, so you just going somewhere and just doing these classes with no backing. Yeah. But actually I do have backing. The backing is the general public that says, yeah, we want you to come to Baltimore. All right, cool. Let's raise $3,000 and let's do Baltimore. Right. I remember people saying I was in the Illuminati. That shit. And then I started making fun of it. I started calling myself Illuminati Maj.
Does that come from the right or the left, or like, what does that come from?
This comes from the left.
Really?
When the rights disses are, when I call clear bullshit, which is obviously racist or bigoted, at least, because I don't like the word racist as much. The way that it's been overused, it kind of like waters it down. Like,
well, also the problem with racist, man, I've come to realize is, so first and foremost, if you want to have a discussion or a debate, you have to agree on the definition of terms.
Right.
Each side has a totally different interpretation of what the simple word racist means, right?
Right.
And so I try to stop using that word in particular. And I think bigoted is a better word, because it's like, all right, I'm trying to tell you one thing and you don't agree with my definition of this.
Yeah.
So we're like ships passing in the night. We're not even communicating.
I call it, me and my lady call it a 6 and a 9 conversation. On the ground, there's a 6. If I'm standing over here, it looks like a 9. If she's standing over there, it looks like a 6. And if we're arguing, we're both right from our perspective.
Exactly. That's a perfect way of putting it.
When I see, because they exist, like on the right, when I say Murray Rothbard had a case for reparations, and reparations is stolen labor and stolen property. Right. There was a case maybe 2 years ago where,
and it's not from a particular race. It's from the corporations, the entities that actually stole that labor.
100%.
Yeah. Now, I'm a big fan of Rothbard.
And so to me, when I'm advocating that, I'm saying, I understand why Black people say this. Mm-hmm. I think the approach, one, when people say, oh, reparations will never happen in America. Well, it is happening all the time. It has happened. So when you tell Black people and not to have a full, robust conversation about it, and clearly the transatlantic slave trade was a specific type of thing. Like, let's not pretend like it wasn't. Like, let's just stop lying, right? Now, does this mean that, and I say this all the time, does this mean that Dave's white, so Dave, out of your profits, you owe me $8 per day? Like, no, that's not a thing.
Right.
However, when you're talking about corporate entities, Wells Fargo, Norfolk Southern, insurance companies, real estate magnates that specifically benefited from the capture, stolen labor, like those plantations in the South were built by people that if you have meticulous records, you can prove this was taken. There was a lady a family that had to get a house given back to them. It was on the coastline of Los Angeles, waterfront. They had to give it back because they fought for 2 years and was like, this was taken from my great, whatever. The people that got the house back, they weren't alive when the house was taken. My point is that is a form of reparations. Problem is, to your point, the general public is being presented a definition of reparations. They don't know what tort law means. They don't understand what I'm actually saying, even though I've explained it 1,000 times. Mm-hmm. They just hear that word and get triggered. And so those are the people on the right. When I say, no, I can understand that.
It's a true 69 conversation, because when the right hears reparations, they think one thing. When the left hears reparations, they think a different thing. And you're arguing over something that you don't even agree to the definition of.
I believe that it gives, I think some of those guys, especially in libertarian spaces, they know exactly what I'm talking about. But I think that those guys are just bigoted. And
I know what you're talking about.
Right. They just want to act like I'm saying by birth, because you were born, the government should give you a handout. And that's not what I'm saying.
I find it interesting. So the same people who make the argument, and look, I don't know if I come from people who owned slaves. I haven't dug into my ancestry. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I very well may have. At some point, they really messed up because no wealth was inherited whatsoever. But hey, that's okay. But the same people who say, look, I don't own slaves. I don't know anybody in my family who owns slaves. And you weren't alive during that time, black man. So why are we even talking about this? Those same people who say that, talking about white people specifically, because I am one, they also, though, will talk about the importance of building wealth for their family and for future generations. And so it's like you can take a futuristic view of the importance of generational wealth, but you can't take a retroactive view of the importance of the preservation of generational wealth, right? Does that make sense? Like,
it 100% makes sense. And then when I say it that way, they go, no, Maj, you're just a leftist pretending to be a libertarian. It's if I advocate and talk, again, I've always been nuanced. Now, if you take a soundbite of what I said and then I go, it's no different than Trump. There's fine people on both sides. There's 3 more minutes to that conversation where he specifically says, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis, verbatim.
Yeah. Dude, did you see recently Michael Rappaport came out and said, finally, he's like, and he's the dude who was vehemently anti-Trump. Like, he's like, I finally saw the rest of the fine people thing. And you guys were right. He totally disavowed white supremacy. And it's like, yeah, asshole. Like,
right. It's the same
nuance
thing.
Matters.
If I'm talking about the racist practice of gun control, right? If the person that's hearing that and it's opposing me happens to be a so-called, what's now referred to as a liberal, right? That person will say, I am a sellout. If that person is black or white, I remember one time in Chicago, I spoke at an event, a walk away event, and this white dude was like, "What's up, Uncle Tom?" And I just was like, "Well, first, that's the wrong slur. That means you didn't read the book. Uncle Tom didn't sell out in the book. Kiambo."
Wait. A white dude said that?
A white dude. And I was like, "Come on, let's go around the corner." I was like, "Let's go around the corner and fight." And he was like, "I'm not going around the corner." I was like, "Look, the police, they're gonna stay right here." I'm like, "Officers, don't follow us." He wouldn't go. He was trying to bait me, right? Yeah. So those dudes that identify more as like hipster, white liberal types, right? They'll say I'm a sellout because I identify the racist practice of gun control and I'm pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment. They kind of say it, but that dude was a little bolder because there was a bunch of police around. Everybody knows I got a gun. Like, it's not so, but generally they never say it. They do it online. So if they're on the left, they say I'm a sellout because Second Amendment, yada, 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 right? If they are on the right and I call out their bigotry, if I call out Charlie Kirk is a moron, Matt Walsh is a moron, I think these people are bigots. And I think that they hide their bigotry behind they haven't conserved anything. Walsh is an authoritarian. And so, like, you want to ban pit bulls. Like, what are you talking about? It's right. Come on, bro. And so when I say that, some conservatives will say, I'm victim blaming, or I'm being a victim, because I can identify, hey guys, if Trump did historic things for the First Step Act and Black communities that were wrongfully, or their numbers were higher in the incarceration, if he did something to reverse the problem with that system and it impacted Black people disproportionately, that system is systemically racist. So you'll understand it when it comes to Trump and doing something, and want to give him that kudos. But when I say the people that you're talking about are not that now kind of like pretend like they closer to Trump than they are, those guys are clowns, and they're running the game to keep us a little bit more divided. Those people on the right will say, I'm being a victim, right?
Yeah, and you make a good point. And a perfect example is the people on the right, because I call out people on the right all the time. I try to call them out more because
you're supposed to be on my team. Like, I need a good team.
I often get like grouped in with some of these guys, and I'm like, hold on. So, all right. You're saying systemic racism doesn't exist, but then you're calling out Biden for authoring the 94 crime bill, which is a bill that was systemically racist. What am I missing here?
The contradiction is what they're missing. They are walking contradictions. And so when I say it, I get to say it as a libertarian because I'm not any of those. I'm not the, saying it as a libertarian used to work for a while until I gained some sort of notoriety in libertarian circles. Then when libertarians hear me say, yeah, the concept of reparations, if someone feels they were wrong, then they can prove whatever entity, whether it's the United States government, whether it's corporations, take the case to court, do your paperwork, do your research, get your papers in order, sue them. Hey, my labor is a thing, and libertarians should 1,000%. You guys understand, like, hey, the Fed is stealing our wealth because they're inflating the money by not tying it to anything and devaluing it because they're printing it.
Right.
You understand your labor and your property and your dollars then. So when I explain it the same way that Rothbard did, they go, he's a leftist. So leftists will say I'm a right or a sellout. Right? People on the GOP will say he's victim. And the libertarians, the few bigots, like some of the guys in one of those state Twitter groups, they'll say I'm just a leftist. And the beautiful thing about that is that means I'm not tap dancing for anybody's drum.
Yeah.
I'm just balls and strikes, bro. Just call them. Just call them.
Yep.
And
well,
so
it's crazy that they would say that libertarians would say quoting Rothbard is a leftist thing.
Because their thought process is they ignore the nuance of me explaining in full and sending them the links.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like years ago when I said me and Larry Sharp were some of the libertarians, more so-called prominent libertarians that were saying we're not open borders libertarians. I'm talking about like 5 years ago, before it was a bigger conversation as it is now. Right. And I remember, before Rothbard passed, it was maybe like a year or two before he passed. Rothbard for a while was an open borders libertarian. He changed. He said, no, I think that immigration and moving of bodies can be used to weaponize against a nation. His words, not mine. And so knowing that, you're supposed to know the material. So when guys are like, oh, 100% would love for, I don't think there should be passports. I think people should be able to go wherever they want, whenever they want. Just follow the rules while you're here. I'm not mad at that, right? But you can't say that and then your thing is, yeah, we got borders, but we got a welfare state and there's no vetting process and Congress keeps kicking the can down the road as it relates to streamlining the process of lawful immigration to get some of the hardest working people I've ever met in my fucking life into America for these opportunities. Like, that's a robust conversation. But what these libertarians do, they hear me say a thing. They don't like that I've gotten more done in the liberty space in a shorter period of time. I'm more ripped and jacked than them, and they're women like me. And I show up and I'm nice to people. And I'm not pretending like I've read every book in the universe. My life experience and my very, very practical way of looking at life and tying that into real life experiences, I'm able to articulate things. And so those guys get mad. And when those types of people show up in your life, your truth reflects their lie. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like Arnold. And I love talking to people that work out, right? That train, because you'll get the references. Arnold was like, they're making fun of my calves. I'm wearing shorts so they can make fun of my calves, and I'm blasting the shit out of calves. That's it.
Yeah.
As opposed to going, oh, they're talking about me, or their presence is there and his calves are bigger than mine, so I'm just going to put on sweats all of the time. No, those guys will, when they show up, they'll say, I have one of them today say, as it relates to me talking about the Kansas City shooting that happened. And he was like, anyone that advocates, any crazy gun nuts, this is a libertarian, any crazy gun nuts that are advocating for communities full of low IQ, we know what the that dog whistle means, low IQ, low impulse control communities to have guns are the same as open borders libertarian. So this person that talks about non-collectivism is advocating that a human right should only be dealt out to people that match the certain skin tone and or intelligence level.
Right. Yeah.
As a libertarian. And so
that's not a libertarian.
It's not. But then they'll say, I'm the leftist.
Right.
When you're advocating for, we should stop certain communities that have violent issues. Never mind the fact that if I start pulling out other things like my trailer park homies, those communities can get violent as like,
oh, dude.
Whether you knew it or not, the motherfucking that when the Pabst Blue Ribbon starts going, shit could get crazy. Yeah. And so
just drive through Appalachia, man. It's you want to like. I know that oftentimes that whole low IQ thing can be a dog whistle, but like go to where I grew up. You want to see some low IQ and whites. I mean, but the deeper part of that, man, is like our natural rights, our rights enshrined in the Constitution aren't contingent on IQ.
Right.
Period. And so if you're making that argument,
people.
Right. And that's what's crazy, dude. It's like, and I think there's a level of condescension there. And I think that sometimes that level of condescension will transcend even their self-professed core principles. Exactly.
There is a in different groups and backgrounds. I see it. I was doing an interview with Pastor Daryl Scott a few days ago, and he said racism towards black people can recognize racism. He said, I explain it the way I explain ugly. I may not be able to explain it exactly to you what it is, but when I see it, I know exactly what the f is.
Yeah.
And so those guys exist in this weird space where they can say a thing and say, I'm not being racist. I'm not. But in reality, like, cut it the f out. We know what the f you mean, right?
Yeah.
And so they benefit from attempting to try to get people like me to not be around, but they can only do it on the internet. Because when I come to their place,
of course,
I'm in your town. I tweet it. You see it. I tweet all the time.
I know you do.
Location.
It's something I love about you, man.
And it's like, I mentioned that today on one of my posts. I had so much respect for the last time that I got kicked off of Twitter for saying I'd assault people that were reading drag time stuff, sexual stuff to children in a library. That's what got me kicked off of Twitter. That's why I only got like 30,000 followers again on Twitter.
Dude, I got kicked off. You got way more than me. I suck so bad at Twitter, bro.
Twitter's getting lit again.
It's getting lit, but like I'll put some effort in and then I'll stop for a while. And it's like I got the problem with Twitter for me is like it's addictive. Like I'll get on there and next thing I know, man, an hour of my day has passed by. And I'm
schedule
like, what did I accomplish? That's what I need to do. Yeah.
Schedule them. Yeah. If you batch and then schedule and then only show up to put other stuff in the thread that's tying back into your business or something great, it helps out a whole lot. Like a lot of people think like, oh, Maj be on Twitter. No, I'll tap in and because I like social media, right? But I was saying this on Twitter today. I was like, yo, or X as it's called now.
Mm-hmm.
In Chicago, when I got kicked off of Twitter for saying what I said, a transgender person showed up at the event and had smoke for me. And I loved it. I loved it. I was like,
wait, was it a man to woman or woman to man?
It was a man to woman.
Okay.
And
of course it was, because they still got that testosterone.
Testosterone's there.
Yeah.
And so I got off the stage in the mic and asked and engaged. And the bitch in them kind of came out because they wound up just kind of storming out afterwards. But it was respectful, even though they were trying to play me, and I liked it. And I was just like, yo, I respect the fact that this motherfucker came up and whatever. And so all of the people that say all of this stuff from the Liberty space about me on social media, I'll be in Florida, I'll be at their spot, they say I'm this. Like, they never, ever. So the transgender had at least enough balls left to say, I'm going to go address him and tell him a piece of my mind. These dudes will do
respect,
it. Like,
respect.
Right, and I respect that. It's like, because you ain't going to do shit to me. You like,
dude, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I told somebody the other day, I got more respect for a leftist who fully believes what they're saying than quote conservative who's just saying what they're saying because they know that that's what people want to hear. They're playing to a crowd.
Targeting the lowest common denominator of the so-called conservative movement to sell them things. They're not intending on expanding the movement. No. They're there for and I'm not mad. I understand the business model.
Yeah, it's a free market. Like, do you, but I don't have to respect what you're doing.
Right. And so when I see it, I'm like, no, this guy's a clown. This guy's a clown. This guy's a clown. This guy's a clown. Now, get your money, Playboy. But when we peel back and say, okay, Turning Point is headquartered in Arizona. Since you guys got there, Arizona and your Turning Point and the Blexit movement, this is supposed to be turning people, the black exit from the Democratic Party, even though you say you don't do identity politics. Okay, cool, whatever.
That's a good point. I never thought about that. That's straight up identity politics.
That's what it is. Yeah. But okay, because I ain't mad at it. I do want black people. You guys need to get the out of there. Get out of there. Like, get out of there. You're making it harder in my city. Get the out of there.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm not going to pretend like I want a Blexit. I want a Sexit, a Spanish exit. I want an Asian exit. I want a Wexit. I want a white exit. I want all of that shit. And then then we'll get it back to, oh, America. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But since you guys got there, show me the fruit of your tree. How many voter registration rolls can you say you got to flip? That's your whole thing. I can show you. We can literally damn near watch a parallel line when Black Guns Matter started and me saying we're going to make the black community the newest, largest gun buying demographic. Not because evil Whitey. No, because gun control was started and it still is impacting Black America the most as it relates to racism, which is a contradiction because it's unconstitutional. And this has already been enumerated in the Bill of Rights. So that's why I started there. And I've been very robust and full about that conversation the entire time. That it's not a down with Whitey party. Bro, you know how many fucking white dudes help us out? You know how many Asian people, Spanish people, Black? Huge shouts to fucking Edgar Antillon over at Guns for Everyone. Huge shouts to Isaac, Guns for Everyone. Huge shouts to, man.
Hey, me and my Asian wife have donated money, so.
Right. Like I'm not this box that each segment tries to say, because they cut off half of the conversation, like they cut off half the conversation with Trump at the South Carolina shit. So when we talk about these dudes, okay, look at your fruit, right? Look at your outcome. We can see where the black community is. The NSSF got the numbers for you. It's not an accident. I did what I said I was going to do with less than 3 years and less than $300,000 at the time. It's elbow grease and some time, baby. So we can see Black Guns Matter is cited in the Supreme Court Bruin decision. That's going to be that's a landmark case that we are cited in. So let's use that same thought process, because some people think it's because I just don't like these people. I don't know them enough to not like them. I know what they're doing, and I know that it's not fruitful. Mm-hmm. However, Turning Point is in Arizona. Since Turning Point got there, Arizona has went from red to blue. What are we talking about? Show me 1,000 people that came to your event. You don't even do voters registration changes at your events, which to me would be a layup.
Yeah, for real.
So show me 1,000 people in one state that changed from blue to red. That's not what the play is. The play was never it's to say it and act like it, but you're literally preaching to the choir. You're not doing the Jesus shit. Jesus was going out to the criminals, and when Jesus was hanging out with criminals, the criminals were changing, not Jesus.
Turning Point is targeted at universities, right? Mainly. Yep. Is that their thing?
But they target universities. And again, that's their thing. That's great for views and clicks. I'm not knocking it. Do your thing. But it's not what when you tell me is one thing, bro, don't piss out the tree and tell me it's raining. You're going to the colleges so you can get engagement, so you can argue people that you have already identified as not the sharpest knives in a drawer. They're 20-year-old college students that think that socialism is a viable option. How smart could they possibly be?
Yeah, I mean, it basically just becomes like Charlie Kirk arguing with a feminist on a campus. And by the way, he's not changing her mind. So then it just becomes basically, dopamine stimulation for people who already agree with him, who are watching on YouTube, right?
He owned that, lib.
Yeah. And look, I enjoy watching that stuff sometimes, but
yeah.
I understand, like, it's not, and I do think it's important that one side debates the other side and this stuff happens. But to your point of, okay, what is it actually doing? What is the effect?
The effect is when I'm arguing or debating someone, I'm not really even talking to them.
Right. I've noticed that in it's from like 5 years ago. It was, I think, on Vice. Yep. Vice something. Yeah. Gun control debate. You address the crowd and the viewer mostly instead of your opponent. I did notice that.
They either are where they are, and if they stay there, they are free to do so. But they are there to make me lose. I'm there to win everybody else. In that debate that you're talking about, they asked the question, they let the audience online vote.
Right.
Then they asked us the question, we gave our perspective, then the audience voted again. 3 out of the 4 times, if I'm not mistaken, it started Maj is wrong and she's right. Then we talked, and then it was Maj is right and she's wrong.
I think you're right. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Overwhelmingly. My point in saying that is I wasn't yelling at her. I'm not arguing. And if people in the audience identify somewhat with her, if I try to attack her and make her look bad, they feel like I'm making them feel bad.
Right. And they're all and at that point, they're no longer listening to your words. And it's just like in this conversation, there will certainly be listeners who heard us say the word reparations earlier and tuned out. And that's to your point of how much nuance matters, because you're not talking about the 6ix9ine conversation. You're not talking about the definition of reparations as most people interpret it. You're talking about a very nuanced, different thing, but we probably lost people as soon as that word came up.
The crazy thing about that is these are the same people that say they're critical and free thinkers.
Exactly. Exactly.
This life shit, bro.
Bro, it's like when I put up a post that says, just because I hate your ideas doesn't mean I hate you. People will be like, well, it depends on the idea. It's like, no, I harbor no hate for a fellow human. I really don't, based on, what I choose to believe. Right?
You haven't done anything to me for me to hate you.
Exactly. I can despise your ideas, and I can debate with you, and I can tell you how wrong you are, and you can tell me the same, but I don't hate you. And we conflate that so much, man.
My new twist that I've been waiting to roll out. I'll say it now. I haven't rolled it out yet. It's good. When I'm getting on the road this spring and summer, I'm going to roll it out a lot. I'm going to say everybody that is in opposition to me, I'm going to identify them as Americans. That American right there is and I disagree with that American, my fellow American, my fellow American, my fellow American.
I like that.
The thought process is get people. You can get money by getting people to hate. I can galvanize you fast on hate.
Mm-hmm.
That is a backwards thing, though, because it still divides the people. So I can go, I disagree with you, my fellow American brother. I have empathy for your perspective, but let me share this with you.
Yeah, it's like Cornel West. He always, my brother, my sister.
My brother.
He finds there's at least that common bond as humans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then let's talk about the ideas.
Right. And I can tell you how silly your shit is. If you're advocating for me, you can, because I'm not advocating for you to not take the vaccine or whatever new thing they about to roll out. You know what's bugged out? 4 years ago in the Super Bowl, who played each other?
Dude,
the Chiefs and the 49ers.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
It was an election year. Trump was against who?
Joe Biden. That's wild, dude. I haven't even made that parallel.
Then a month after that, in March of 2020, right? The world shut down because of a virus.
Oh, please, no. Please,
4 years ago.
Please. Dude, I did not realize that last election year it was the same teams playing in the Super Bowl. That's wild, man. You got my conspiracy wheels turning now, bro. I did not need that today.
In my opinion, give it a second. They're going to try to roll out whatever the new thing is. Or
Disease X they're talking about. Dude.
So with that being the case, we need so many Americans that would be receptive to that propaganda. I don't need them to, not saying a pander. We're not pandering. But at the same time, respecting you as a human, respecting you as an American, respecting you as a person that in the last 2 or 3 years went through and survived one of the largest psychological operations potentially known to man, like, and maybe in world history. I want you to know that you have a friend in me. When the first thing happened 4 years ago, and all of the people that I didn't damage relationships with that were my friends that were anti-gun, I know how this go. I've lived such a rich life already and lived experience. The girl that you thought wasn't gonna give you any play because you messed up before, or you thought she was out of your league, if you just stayed down and maintained your principle, she comes around.
That's how I got my wife, dude. I figured for sure she was out of my league. She didn't give it up the first night either. So I was like, man, but
she came around.
18 years later, what's up?
Now look at us. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So with that being the case, then my lived experience, I learned from that. And I go, don't be deliberately rude to people that have not been rude to you just because they view it differently. Of course they view it differently right now. They are a product of an indoctrination camp called the public education system.
Yeah, that's
if you know that, why would you come on, bro?
Well, there's the statement you made, as simple as it was, my anti-gun friends. You have anti-gun friends. I mean, that says a lot right there, because there's so many people today who just on the sole principle of something simple like that would choose not to associate with someone, would choose to write someone out of their lives, block, unfollow, whatever. It's like, man, we have different beliefs. It's okay.
Here with a twist. This gonna blow your viewers' mind, bro. They not anti-gun.
What are they?
An anti-gun person advocates for all guns to be gone, including law enforcement and the military. They're not advocating for that. They're advocating for the guns to be in the hands of the people that they think train more or are better equipped and more safe. Inadvertently, that just means I just have to show them that that cop that you think is safe, I train more and better than him. I know more than him. I'm on my Ron Swanson. I know more than him.
That's a good point, man, because it was always weird to me how the same group that's saying ACAB is also saying the people shouldn't have guns and the authorities should. If you're in trouble, call the police. Wait, hold on a second. You just told me in the prior sentence that they're all bad. And now you're saying I shouldn't be able to defend myself because we've got police. Which one is it? Which one is it?
Now, if I don't trigger them first, I get to that point in the conversation. I get to say, bro, I don't know. And I do all types of fucking tactics. There's a great book. I think I actually have it on one of these shelves. It's called Don't Shoot the Dog by Karen Pryor. Okay. She was a person that deals with like training animals. Like she worked at like SeaWorld and spots like that. So they would train dolphins. And for a while, they were going to work with the Navy and the CIA to train dolphins to track enemy submarines and go underwater and shit like that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
So the concept of positive reinforcement and these operant
conditioning. Yeah.
Yeah. I do that to people that are currently not in my sphere of thinking. So
bro, I do it every day as a parent.
Yep. Yep.
It works.
And it works. And so if I say something like, if they go, yeah, man, but I just think it would be safer in the police hands. And I already know the answer. I know that they're wrong. But I go, I don't know, man. I didn't know that you could trust the police. I wish I could get to where you at, where I trusted the police as much as you do. And then they go, I don't trust the police.
Then it's like cognitive dissonance.
I trust the firemen because they know what the they're doing. And they got all of this stuff. I just got the one extinguisher, and that's cool. But those dudes seem to show up and put the fire out, and nobody dies if they do their job right, unless they're too late. But in other instances, I don't know if I can say the same thing for law enforcement in my lived experience. And maybe your lived experience is different, but I wish I could get to that place of trust. Then they go, I don't trust the government. And I'm like, I don't know, though, bro. You just want them to have the guns, though. That means you kind of trust that they'll get there in time. They move at their own speed. Then I'm still giving them the respect of a human without yelling at them on a college campus. When you have this dialogue and you approach it that way, because I know that I'm right. My study, my lived experience, the history of America and the world showcases that I'm right in this position. But you don't get anything for being right. You're just right. You're right. Great.
Yeah.
Right?
Sleep a little better.
Right. What you do with your rightness and how you are tactically creating more force multipliers in this political, spiritual, and social fight that we're in, that's the game. So when I question and am critical of the goofball libertarians calling me a leftist for arguing Rothbard's principles and approach, when I am critical of people on the left for saying I'm a sellout because I'm pro-gun and pro-Second Amendment, when I get that pushback from these groups or critical or get that pushback from people that are like, yo, that's wrong that you said that Brandon Tatum is a moron and he, like when I get that pushback, those individual people find an affinity to those people that I've just shitted on. So I understand why they're a little bit frustrated with me, but they have never done anything rude to me. All that is an opportunity for me. That's a teachable moment. And then I just start asking questions and hit them with the Socratic method. I go, okay, well, do you think that backing the blue with a blank check makes sense when you told me that you got arrested or the police was bothering you 2 years ago for not wearing a mask? Do you think that that's okay? No, that's not okay, but okay, cool. So do you think it's okay that law enforcement officers hopped out on me and if anyone in any other scenario points a gun at me, I fucking kill you. That's it. So do you think it's okay that these officers, when this law of the land even the Pennsylvania Supreme Court decision, it's the Hicks decision. The presence of a firearm, especially in an open carry state, Pennsylvania is an open carry state, the presence of a firearm does not justify probable cause. There was no call. I was standing out there. You violated my Fourth Amendment rights. You violated the Hicks decision in Pennsylvania, which is an open carry state. Do you guys think that it's okay for them to hop out and point a gun, threaten my life at me? And you know me as a human. Do you think that that's okay? Damn, that's not okay. So why, if we're hearing stories about this, one yesterday, the cop heard an acorn, so he said, drop on the hood of a car. He rolls on the floor, starts dumping rounds in a police cruiser where the suspects were handcuffed in the vehicle. Do you think that that lack of training should be the only type of person that has a firearm when the Constitution and the Second Amendment to the Bill of Rights is 100% clear? If you think that that's right, tell me where it's right and let's argue that. My fellow American. There's no response to that. That's why it's harder for me to get media now. Because it becomes like, we can't, he's going to shit on us. He can't. Yeah. And it becomes like, if I do Newsmax and I say, no, I disagree with him. He's a moron. But I agree with you for these reasons and yada, 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 yada. They have a relationship with the moron. So they don't want to. Everybody's running from the truth in America.
But I think that's like, I don't know. I think that's good content, though, getting that controversy, right? Like
it is good content, but they're not in it necessarily. Like some people put their bigotry above their principles. Mm-hmm. They put that relationship.
Yeah.
Or the potential, right? I when we talked about Joe Rogan, maybe that's why I ain't on the show. I'm saying he's wrong here, but I get what he means, right? But if he only hears the clip of he's wrong here, he's another person that's just attacking me and no nuance. First of all, Joe Rogan's a comedian. Comedians have wild senses of humor. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Dark.
And they're very important. They're very important in our national conversation. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so my point there is it becomes kind of like you almost are damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you tell too much truth, there's an African proverb that says, truth tellers have no friends. And so if I wanted to play the political game, like I know 100% how I could skyrocket. All I have to do is pick a side. I just go left. It couldn't be libertarian. Libertarians are right and they're great for local, but we don't have the national infrastructure, even though it's the third largest political party. There's some time to be built in local and building that up for it to be viable on the financial component and resources on a national level. So I'm honest about that. What libertarians do have are local solutions and decentralized. There's nothing that's beating that shit. Like it's what conservatives pretend that they are now, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
If I wanted to really, really just kill it, like win, not solve the problem, win for myself, I just go, all right, let me call Matt Schlapp and be like, look, I'm all the way on board. I'm red. I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to talk. I've already spoke right before Donald Trump at CPAC. It's already happened. If I played that game right, and I'm aware of that game, but that's not the tactic that's necessary or a winning strategy for America to win. That is a winning strategy for Shapiro to win. That is a winning strategy for Nina Turner to win, we follow each other, me and Nina Turner. That is a winning strategy for Matt Walsh to win at the Daily Wire. That is a winning strategy for Brooklyn Dad Defiant to win. By winning, it means the individual win. Yeah. That is divisive as for America. And the irony is both sides say that each side hates America and is divisive. They're running the same exact play with different talking points. Yeah. So people like yourself, people like myself, we have to connect, and because we're like our own islands. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because we're too, like, you look like the dude that TV would classify as like the skinhead, the you know what I mean? Like the
oh yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you'll get those dudes that are like, yeah, those Asians. And you're like, what the are you talking about? My wife's Asian.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
I'm like, yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they?
Right. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes, you almost can't get that group. Not that we would even want that group.
Yeah. No, bro. I've been approached, and whatever. No knock on anybody, but like I have been approached in public. I live in South Carolina, so I live in a red state, but
Yeah.
a lot of dudes look like me here. But I've been approached by like Proud Boys members multiple times just in public, like, hey, brother, and I'm like, I like a lot of what the Proud Boys,
Yeah.
advocates for,
Right.
but there's some things I disagree with them on. But it's just funny that because of how I look, I'm automatically assumed. And that's why, like, look, when I'm in, I'm just a stone's throw from Charlotte, and there's a lot of black communities in the Charlotte area. Like, you
Yeah.
go into some neighborhoods in like West Charlotte, and it's all black. And I know how I look, and so I think about that, and so I go out of my way to be like nice to people and show
Right.
them like, yo, I'm not a threat. Like, I know I look this way. I know I got a beard and tattoos and the body of a Greek god. Whoop whoop. But I'm your brother,
Right.
like we're people, and it's us against this system. It's not us against each other.
The people that are supposed to be on our side, more right of center, right? They'll call that pandering. And it's like, no, I am aware of my reality, surroundings. And it's like me.
If I wanted to pander, I would be ideologically captured and pander to one side, just like you said, to capitalize on that. And I choose not to do that.
What I am doing is, I know in the summertime, like I have a weird, interesting body, right? My shoulders, I could look at my shoulders and they grow.
Yeah.
If it's the summertime and it's 3:00 in the morning and I got on a stringer and, like I can hide my muscles with hoodies. This is a 2X. I'm only 200 pounds. That's it. If I'm running at 3:00 in the morning, nighttime, especially in trails where there's not a lot of black people, like 100-pound white girls are there. 100-pound black girls are there. I am trying to make sure that you do not feel nervous.
Right.
Not because I have to, but I want to leave a solid impression of, hey, you okay? You make sure you're safe out here, sister, okay? All right, and then I'm back to it. My friends, King Erna, did a bunch of state and fed time. He's a big Muslim dude with a big beard and a bunch of muscles, and he's got a deep voice like this. I'm like, bro. He's like, but you don't be feeling like they kind of like it shouldn't matter. And I'm like, bro, you're my man. And if I didn't know you, and if it's 3:00 in the morning and we're doing this, I'm crossing the street, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just logical. And like another example, so my 6-year-old daughter, she's a little gymnastics savage, dude. The girl is ridiculous. So she's got gymnastics practice a few times a week. And then on the days she doesn't, she still wants to go to the trampoline park. So I take her to the trampoline park. 90% of the employees at that trampoline park are black teenagers.
Yeah.
And again, I know what I look like, right? And so I go out of my way to chop it up with them, to be nice with them, like joke around, like, and immediately you see a shift in like, because at first they're like, well, I don't know. This dude might, hate my existence based on my skin color. And I get that. I totally get that. And so I'm cognizant of that. And so I immediately, and again, like you said, I don't have to, but I choose to, because it's like, I get it. I realize that you look at me and you see what I look like, and naturally you're cautious. And I would be too if I were you.
And the cautious is a thought process of propaganda that's told people.
Yep. 100%.
Like, I don't smoke a lot of weed. I got locks. There's things that I do, like getting a haircut on this. If you didn't know that I had locks, you wouldn't think I have locks.
Right.
But when people know that I have locks, they're like, yo, you smoke, right?
Exactly.
No, it makes me kind of paranoid. I smoke on vacation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's there's a propaganda machine there. And unfortunately, in a lot of instances, the propaganda machine has always told each side, they're the problem. They're the problem. And this is what this problem looks like. And this is what this problem looks like. Meanwhile, the whole time, the government is the problem.
Exactly. And I think that, you know, you see this a lot from what we call liberals today, but they're not really liberals. People on the left, they like to act like they don't, what's the best way to put it? They act like to them stereotypes don't exist at all, right? And it's like, bitch, when I get in the elevator with you and you know, I'm covered in tattoos and I look a certain way, like I understand why you grasp your purse a little tighter, you know? I get it. You don't know me.
I look like Sons of Anarchy to you. I get it.
Exactly. And it's like I don't blame you for thinking that. But what I am going to do is dismantle that to the best of my ability in the time that I have, because I think in doing so, it makes the world a little bit better.
Yeah, I posted something on Instagram a few days ago. When we're out in front of the center, we talk to everybody. We got a t-shirt racks out front, especially in the summer. It's beautiful, man. And so
I need to come up there in the summer,
bro. Teach a class, whatever, bro.
I would love to. I would love to, man. I'm gonna do it.
Being in the spot, and we'll get dudes. This like one dude, he happened to be white, and I was talking to him, and he was in the Navy. I was like, "Yo, what you did in the Navy?" He started telling me a little bit. He was like, because I offered him to come to the, here's the flyer, come to the firearms class. He's like, man, I don't know if I'm. He said it. He was like, I don't know if I'm responsible enough for a gun. And I was like, that's so honest. He was like, yeah, man, I'm just, I lose my keys. And if I don't keep it on me all of the time, which I probably won't because it's probably uncomfortable, I just,
And he was in the Navy?
And he was in the Navy. And I asked him, that's why I said, well, what did you do in the Navy? He's like, I wasn't in combat or nothing. He was like, we did the electrical. We kept, we was like under the boat. Engineer. And I was like, all right, cool. He's like, and and the guns on my ship, they were kind of like for defense. And I was like, well, that's what they all are for. And he was getting on the bus in front of the shop. And he was like, yo, good luck. And that guy's been back past here 10 times since then. My point in saying that is we created content around it. It's very difficult for him to receive the propaganda, at least after my engagement with him.
Exactly.
That all dudes in North Philly that's younger that got on a hoodie is definitely coming to rob you. So when he hears it from somebody else, he's liable to be like, nah, it's not my experience. I know these cool dudes. I walk past and they teaching a yoga class. That's not, you know what I mean? They have sewing machines in there. Like they're not selling crack. I promise you. There's sewing machines in there and they're teaching a sewing class.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And those are the things that I'm not mad at your initial bias.
Right.
Because
you can't be.
That's how we stay alive.
Right. Exactly. It's a primal feature of our internal programming that has gotten us to this point in history. But the problem is we live in a system that takes advantage of that primal feature in our internal programming. And the great thing is that we're blessed with logical thought processes that can discern those things. But I do think we got to do our part in that. And it's like when I'm in the gym, again, I know how I look and I make it a point to be nice to people. And a lot of times I get, oh, wow,
you're actually nice.
Yeah, you're a really nice dude. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And most big guys probably are. There's some assholes, but like they're big because they love this shit and they want to talk to me about it.
What's your pet peeve? So I wear shades in the gym. This is a new thing that I started doing. Even like, because my gym is 24 hours. So I'll be like in the gym, like my alarm goes off at 3:45. I'm in the gym by like 4:30, maybe latest 5 o'clock in the morning, right?
You got me beat. I get up at 4:30, but
bro, it's a life changer.
I love being up before everybody.
And I can move around. I can have my coffee. Bro, so I wear shades in the gym all the time.
Just because you don't want to make eye contact with people and get in a conversation? Yeah.
No, not because of that. In the gym, I'm not famous in the gym yet. I haven't really focused on And I bounce between several gyms. I have a membership to LA Fitness,
That's smart. Yeah.
Planet Fitness, there's a new gym up here. There's a dude named Tony. He's opened these joints called Fusion Gyms. I love
I know Tony. I've talked to
love those gyms, bro.
Yeah, those gyms are sick.
They are. And so crazy. I was up at Andy Frisella's spot in Missouri.
Dude, the HQ gym is sick too.
Oh my God.
It's sick.
I'm in that joint and I'm like, what the
Yeah.
It's an 800,000 square foot facility.
It's incredible. And you know what the best part about it, man? Just a little tangent is how much respect everybody there has for it. You know?
It was like when I came back, because I did the podcast and I came back and I just had to sit with it for a minute. And I was like
what he's built. It's incredible.
And I texted to him. I was like, bro, your company, and I have 2 companies, but I gotta be honest, man. This culture is the best culture I have ever seen or heard of.
100%.
Like, I make content for First Form, just to be completely transparent. I'm not paid or have an affiliate of anything First Form. I'm just like, what the
Yeah.
Now,
it's incredible.
I'll sign up for one or whatever, but like, so I went to that gym and I go to all of these different gyms, Metroflex down in Dallas.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to be in the room that Ronnie was getting busy in type
shit. That's a different kind of gym. Yeah.
Man, it was no AC in there. And I had it was summertime and I had on a long sleeve t-shirt. I almost died. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
My point in saying all of this is that culture of that and that energy and that is what I respect. But sometimes in the gym, I'm not hiding from the people and being known in the gym. I don't want to make eye contact with the women.
Talk about that. Why?
I don't know how to perceive it. And like, sometimes I'm not really looking at you. Like if I've just did a gauntlet, right? I'm looking your direction, but I'm not really looking at you. I'm trying to catch my breath and I'm somewhere else.
I get what you're saying. I do that all the time and I'll catch myself and be like, oh, they probably think I'm staring at them. Yeah.
And so I wear shades and I can pay attention better in shades because I got this from a state trooper friend of mine. State troopers wear shades so they can read your eyes, but you can't read theirs. And that's why they ask you a series of questions to see if you're going to look up and to the left or up and to the right. Because if you're looking up one way, you're accessing memory, which is you're remembering, which means you're probably telling the truth. If you're looking up to the other way, you're accessing the creative portion of your mind, which means you're making some shit up and which means you're probably lying.
Yeah.
So I wear shades a lot, especially in the gym. And so that's one of my pet peeves because I'm seeing something change and I've been great in the gym for years and fell off and been an absolute piece of shit. And I'm now kind of like 2 a days and getting back, right?
Dude, I've been seeing you get it in on your stories and stuff, man.
Bro.
I love to see it.
I'm part of the 405 crew, bro, at 200 pounds. Now, I know, Dave, that's not a lot for you. But at 196, 197, 405 for 2, I'm proud of that.
That's solid. On bench press. Yeah.
On bench,
solid. Yeah.
I can get 315 up on the incline for 1 and some change. I was talking to Mike Rashid,
that's a strong dude.
Yo,
he's ridiculously strong, man.
Bro, 405 for 10 on the incline.
Yeah, yeah. Some dudes are just built different, man.
Like not just I'm just doing this to see, like during the workout.
Working out, yeah.
So that's my pet peeve in the gym. Like I try to not, and it's been exaggerated and exacerbated by my time last summer in Miami. The Miami women in the gym are extremely like, I'm going to make sure you see this ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of women and men
Yes.
treat the gym like more than they're just going for a workout. Like they're going in there for attention or to find a hookup or whatever. Like a dead giveaway is if a girl has her hair down and her makeup on. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And look, I'm not going to knock it, right? Everybody's got their intentions, their goals, what they're trying to do. When I go to the gym, I am like, it's cherished time. Like this
Right.
is my sanctuary. This is my moment to get away from everything else and to focus on what I'm trying to accomplish, the task at hand. And I actually struggled with that a lot, man, because I became like at my old gym, everybody knew who I was. I had a
Yeah.
podcast studio upstairs at the gym.
Yeah.
And it became a struggle for me because I I go in and I'm laser focused and I didn't realize that people thought I was a dick. Like they were just like, "Man, Dave, and I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was just
Working.
right, we're all here for this reason, right? We're trying to get it in, but then you realize, nah, some people are in there having conversations and a lot of people just wanted to talk to me because they listened to the show, they follow
Yeah.
me on social. And so I had to make those concessions. And what I would do is, go at times when it's not busy,
Yep.
right? Because the gym was open 24 hours, right? And so I'd make sure when I'm really trying to work out, I go in there and get it in when there's not a lot of people. But then I would go in busy times and chop it up with people just because I knew that they wanted to talk to me. And if I could give them a tip or whatever, like, so I get it, man. And that's something that I battle with now. The gym I go to, like, no, it's fine. But
what's your pet peeve in the gym?
oh, definitely people who sit on a piece of equipment on their phone. And I'm not talking, look, you got to rest between sets. And if you look at your phone, cool. But
Right.
if you're on that mother for 5 minutes on your phone and I need that piece of equipment, and it's inconsiderate. Like that's the big thing, that like in general,
Yeah.
whether it's not using your damn blinker and just
Yeah.
abruptly stopping and turning, or just little things like that.
Yeah.
People being inconsiderate of others, that always rubs me the wrong way.
Do
Always.
you are you a, because the gym that I go to, Fusion is pretty like
It's serious people.
influencer friendly.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Social media, like the lighting, it's amazing. Like I
They
took some
built it for
pictures in
that.
there, like a couple, like my traps and shit looked like. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
And so I don't really trip about people in their cameras. What's your
No,
take?
I don't.
I saw something that Joey Swole did, and
Yeah,
it was a brother that I forget the brother's name.
he was the Olympian, the physique
Yeah,
winner. Yeah.
yeah,
So my thing with that, man, is like, I do gym content, not as much these days, but I used to do a ton of it. You got to remember it's a public space and everybody has a right to be there. And
yeah.
so if somebody walks in front of my camera, it is what it is. I don't what
Edit
gets
it
me
out.
is people who trip over it. Like
Yeah,
they get pissed off, like you're supposed to alter the course of your workout because they want to film themselves. It's like,
yeah.
nah, man. If you want to do that, build a gym at home.
Right.
If
Right.
you like, and so I'm on Joey's side with that stuff. Like, and especially record, like when people record other people to make fun of them, that stuff
Oh,
really gets me, bro. Like really
yeah,
gets me. It's like we're trying to get more people in the gym.
yeah,
If you're going to record somebody for looking goofy or whatever, what do you think that does to all those people out there who come
yeah.
across your content and now they're like, well, I'm definitely not going to go
Right.
improve myself
Right.
and risk being posted on somebody's TikTok because
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
hate that. I hate that.
Yeah.
I like when I stopped even feeling some type of way about that was I would see dudes that were way more jacked and ripped than me using a piece of equipment in a way that I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And they were so jacked that I'm like, I don't know what the he knows.
But
It's
he's
like when
doing something right.
right. Some of my
Yeah.
homies that do short rep, like half reps. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
about half reps, but they
Yeah.
were doing like short push-ups, not full range of motion. And I'm like, bro, that's not a whole push-up. Meanwhile, their chest is sitting and their shoulders is sitting out here.
Yeah. They're
And it's
keeping
like
continuous tension on the muscle. Yeah.
these guys have all time under tension the entire time and haven't stopped. I understood that more when I started watching like dudes like this is the other thing. People know me for like gun shit, but I really like working out. Like I have a signed book from Franco Colombo.
Oh, that's sick.
Of his book, his actual book, right? That I have that book with his signature. Like the fact that I know who you know who Franco Colombo is, but the general public is like, who the is Franco Colombo? What the are you talking about?
Yeah, Arnold's sidekick.
Right. I'm just like I've always been a fan of like
physical
Greek
culture,
mythology, and just the body, and just like, you know, like I remember the first like short story. Years ago when I was outside doing shit I had no business doing. I don't know if I told you the story before, but then there were two people that I used to watch all of the time. I used to watch Hickok 45 and I used to watch CT Fletcher.
Yeah.
And
that's two goats in both of those spaces. Yeah.
And one night, a Friday night, me and my friends are going to rob these dudes. And I'm saying this not as a, it's not right to rob people that you think are drug dealers, so it's okay. No. I was ignorant at the time. So we was going to rob these dudes, and it was a Friday night because we know y'all got money. Y'all going to be pretty. Y'all going to try to hustle and then go to the club. So we're going to get you before you go to the club. I go to the house. I'm getting ready. And I started watching Hickok and CT Fletcher. I'm chilling. I didn't feel like coming outside. I'm watching CT Fletcher videos. They hit me up. Yo, it's time to go. I'm like, nah, let's just get them tomorrow. I don't feel like it. They go anyway. One of them got murdered. Two of them are in jail for the rest of their life.
Damn.
I was watching CT Fletcher videos. Fast forward to like a year and some change ago.
It's still your motherfucking set.
Right. Fast forward. I'm over in Cali to do Mike Rashid's podcast. I'm going back and forth with Mark Lobliner, and I'm like, yo, do you mind if like I want to go over to the IAG because I couldn't get in contact with Mike because I was there a few days before our actual podcast was. And he was like, you know CT likes you. And I'm like,
that's dope.
What? He's like, yo, do you want to meet him? Yeah, I want to meet CT. What are you talking about? Man, I go over there. CT has no idea that I was watching videos, and that's why I'm not his videos, and that's not why I'm not in jail right now.
Or dead.
Man, I go into the Mighty Iron Addicts gym, and it's surreal. I remember watching the curl video with him and O'Hearn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I remember watching him and Cali Muscle in there, just like I remember him, Big Rob and Mike Rashid and all of this. So I'm in that joint, and Samson his son is who opened the door for me. And I'm in the joint, and I'm just like, wow. And here comes CT, and I got it on video. And he's like, my son, I am so proud of you.
Damn. That's sweet, man.
These are the things that when we're talking about full circle and talking about staying down and staying dedicated and not thinking that something is, what can I do from going to the range and training? How's this going to help me watching these self-development videos? What you mean going to the gym? And then when you get out of your own way, life starts to make a way for you. You just got to stay down and stay disciplined. And then you start manifesting these realities, bro.
Yeah.
CT is a military vet, pro-gun. And it's like, this is why that shift from what we talked about earlier, that shift of my thought process going from, what's this self-help shit? No, you just didn't know what self-help was.
Right.
What's this self-improvement, personal development shit? Nah, it's real. Last summer, bro, I've been really, I admire a dude named Wes Watson.
Yeah, I've had Wes on the show.
I like his story, bro. Like, it's like, and then, people always, hey, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, pick any person. There's going to be detractors and all that. Like
they said I was in the Illuminati. All right, cool,
yeah,
right?
the conversation I had with Wes, I know benefited people.
Yeah,
that's what I care about. And
you
that's
can't
that.
deny. Listen, bro, we watched this man go from making the videos on the bench in the park.
Mm-hmm.
This the bugged out part about that. When I was in Miami, I said I'm gonna be a Floridian over the summer. My homies that at the Greenhaven Project was like, I was like, yo, y'all gotta give me grunt work. Don't give me this celebrity shit. Give me the grunt work. What I would have to do to grow food, bananas and shit. And I bought a bike, like a pedal bike. And I would ride from the garden in Overtown. After I did all of the work, I would ride over to South Beach, use the Wi-Fi, kick it, whatever. And I would ride this one particular way. And after I started watching these videos, I swear to you, I'm like, that Benz truck, I know that Benz truck. That's Wes Watson's crib. And I didn't make the video where his crib was because I ain't into that shit. Privacy and security is important to me. But this was the same. And then right after that, Wes Watson and Mike Rashid had put a video together. Rewind a bit. Years before I even knew Mike Rashid, before I met Mike Rashid, I ran into Mike Rashid at a gym expo, just inadvertently outside of it, years prior to, before he knew who I was, but I knew who he was. And then we chop it up often now. My point in saying this is there's too many so-called coincidences for it to be a coincidence. There's too many of this shit. Like you start working out, you start paying attention to this, you start doing this, and this shows up. For years, I used to watch these RV videos, and the RV that I have now is the one that I used to watch all the time. And it was like this weird, like you just become this thing by cutting out all of the bullshit and just really, really tapping in. The things, it's like it's already almost low-key like, all right, you put this in this account. When you get of age spiritually, certain shit starts coming out of the account and you get it.
Yeah, and it compounds over time, just like money.
Bro.
Yeah. Dude, a good example of that for me is I was a big fan of Andy's content and his original podcast, 2015. When I was building my company, I was listening to his show as I was building my company. So I looked up to him, for a long time. I mean, I gained so much from what he was putting out. And then I linked up with First Form in 2018, and I've been involved with them ever since. And Andy has become, a friend and like what I would consider a mentor, just, by default. And, here's this guy that I looked up to and consumed his content forever. And now, I was going through a period where I was like, man, I don't see the point in I'm putting all this effort into this content. It's not worth it, man. It's like nobody's changing, nobody's listening. And he's like, dude, people like you are needed right now. You can't stop. And I'm like, this is the dude who I used to look up to, listen. I mean, I still look up to him, but like listen to his podcast. And I mean, it was Andy Frisella, like and now here I am, like he's talking me out of saying it to social media, and it's exactly what you're saying, man. You can't really put a fine point on exactly what it is, but it's like making deposits in that bank over time. And then next thing the dude who you used to take inspiration from, now all of a sudden he's your friend and he's telling you to keep going and telling you that you're important and that you're needed. And it's like that moment for me was, all right, I'm not quitting. I'm going to keep doing this shit. It was huge. So
bro, when I say that's the same vibe, and there's so many successful people and people that are on the path to success that have that. I mean, in separate instances, like not connected. These people might not even know each other. But when you talk to them, because I talk to a lot of people, they all have that same experience. And then you go, oh, okay, it's something to this. There's a reason why me doing a 75 hard and a 72-hour survival course, them same light bulbs were going off. There's a reason why you know, Hormozy, he's like, yeah, I just had it and I lost that shit all. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, oh, there's a reason why, you know, you gotta low key get arrested, Maj. You got to.
I mean, you represent certain principles, you stand on those principles, and you show it, right? Like,
and then fight. Keep fighting.
Yep.
Keep
100%.
fighting. If anything that anybody can pull from this podcast, man, like, and I don't know, maybe we land a plane there, bro, but like, just, yo, man, if y'all are listening to this, bro, like, I'm telling you, I've made millions of dollars. I have never made $10 million yet. It's on the way. However, the satisfaction never really came from money per se. The satisfaction came low key from like, did that. Like, I've gotten more satisfaction from struggling through finishing a 3-mile run, like this morning, a little quick mile run. I was winded because I had on Columbia boots and not running shoes, right? And I was like, in the middle of it, I'm like, dude, why did you stupid? Why did you wear these? But you wore them, so finish. I got more satisfaction from finishing something like that than talking to a really rich dude. He's like, yo, I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna send you 10 grand. That's just a conversation. It's not necessarily a challenge, because what I've already done things that made it right, that when I just presented to this person, they like, of course I'm gonna give you $10,000. You're doing it.
Yeah.
There's more satisfaction from that. And I'm saying that to the gentlemen and ladies that may be listening right now. Do not stop. Everything in life is going to feel like the roof is caving in at different levels. Because my rich friends feel like, yeah, he's worth 500 million. Then he lose 300 million. He's like, how am I going to make it? And I'm like, I think you're making it fine.
Yeah, that feeling never goes away.
Never goes away.
Never goes away, bro.
Keep going.
Yes.
I promise you, if y'all don't get nothing else from nothing I'm saying or we're discussing today, I promise you, just keep going, bro. Don't get away from the thing that makes you see the light and get more into it and get more strength and resources. Keep doing that. Then you're going to plateau. It's like social media. Everybody that's listening to this feel like Facebook is shadow banning. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. I was saying that. Then I posted a video and it got 2 million views on Facebook, of all places. And I was just like, what? And it's not about social media per se.
No, that's a metaphor for everything.
It's your persistence and when this thing going to show up. If you're genuinely doing it for service, if I serve one person, I serve 100 people, I serve 100,000, service is happening. And if you're doing it for those things, all of the stuff that you're going through, that these like trials and this other shit, is just really kind of like tests to make sure that you develop a better mousetrap. And if you look at it that way, you know, my car tire blew out a few days ago. My girl's car tire blew out in the snow a couple days ago. And all I could think was, hell yeah. One, my girl wasn't driving it. I was. Two, I get to go experience the elements and challenge myself in these elements, and then I get to fix this problem. This is going to even make me more resilient. Yeah, I get a chance to be more resilient. I hadn't had one of those in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That shift in perception, man, that having gratitude and finding, because no matter what the scenario, what the situation is, dude, you can find what's good about it.
Right.
And if, because someone in that exact same situation with a different mindset could have let that ruin their day, ruin their week, and shift the course of their life because they chose to be a victim in that particular scenario versus, all right, here's a challenge. I love challenges. I'm going to crush this challenge and I'm going to be better for it when I come out the other side of this challenge. Yep. And that can be the smallest thing, the biggest thing. Like, I love that, bro. And I think that's a perfect place to end the conversation. But I do have one more thing I want to do with
Sure.
you. I'm going to start doing this on the show with people, and I figured you'd be a perfect person to do this with. It won't take long.
Okay, let's do it.
I think I'm going to call it the speed round, but all right. So I'm going to tell you a word or a name or a phrase, and I just want you to give me your immediate reaction to it in just a few words. All right. Okay. Joe Biden.
Loser.
Donald Trump.
Aggressive.
Gun control.
Racist.
I knew that was going to be the answer. LGBTQ.
Let's get Biden to quit plus Kamala.
That's good. QAnon.
Cat.
White people.
Which ones?
Good question. Systemic racism.
Gun control.
Constitutional carry.
Essential.
Taylor Swift.
Good girlfriend.
Kanye West.
Rich.
Ukraine.
Money laundering.
Welfare.
Cancer.
Marriage.
Evolution.
Fitness.
Necessary.
The N word.
Depends on who's saying it.
Boom. That was the speed round with Maj Toure. Thank you, brother.
Yo, they're going to get so mad that I said, depends on who's saying it.
Dude, actually, that's a good point. I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Recently, you know who Tom McDonald is, probably, right? The white rapper. He did that song with Ben Shapiro that blew up.
Oh, yeah.
So there's this other rapper who's also a white guy, Ryan Upchurch. He's like a Southern boy from Tennessee, country rapper guy. And he put out a diss track against Tom McDonald recently because he's basically saying he's this Canadian guy who came down here and he's selling out because he's just hitting on these topics that he knows are inflammatory or whatever. Yeah. I like both of their music for different reasons. But in this diss track, Upchurch, who's a white guy, calls Tom McDonald, who's a white guy, the N-word with an A, not with an ER, no hard R, but he calls him the N-word. Is that acceptable or not? White guy against white guy.
That's a very... So I'll say this first. I've been calling more people troglodytes.
I like that. I like that.
A troglodyte is like a Neanderthalish cave dweller.
Yeah. It's an ape. It's primitive ape.
Like I've been utilizing it for people that exhibit very bigoted and racist and just up takes. Like, bro, that's the lowest of the low.
You know what's funny about that is they probably have no clue what that word means.
They don't.
They're like, wait, what? What am I?
And they think it kind of means like I'm being a troll.
Yeah.
That's what they think. And I'm like, no, it's not what that shit means. But what I've noticed was some other people that do know what it means, I didn't know of this other connotation. It kind of means like it's been more relegated to like a racial slur towards white people. And I didn't
know that either.
I didn't know it. And I just was like, ooh. And I was like, that wasn't my intent. Because I was taking it at face value of what the word meant.
Us white people don't even know that shit. You're fine.
Right. And so now that's the other part. I'm like, do they know that? Then the rabbit hole happens. You go, do they know that this word can be perceived as, or do they, but saying that to say, it's making me think about the connotations of words. I'm a fan of etymology and actual definitions. Right?
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It's interesting to watch how things morph. Like we've watched the term woke go from meaning something good.
Yeah, like stay woke.
Stay woke. Like don't fall asleep out here. Get out the matrix. Pay attention. See what's happening. Stay woke. Don't let them rock you to sleep. To like woke meaning like this fake faux, like, oh, I'm offended by everything. It's just that's interesting to me. And so when you ask that question, I'm kind of thinking like, damn, if he's trying to be rude, because intent matters.
Yeah. He's trying to be rude. It's a diss track.
If he's trying
he's not like, hey, no, he's not doing that. Yeah.
So now we got the question of you're being rude, but you're using a term that I honestly don't feel like is like, I don't think you can use it. In my personal view, it becomes like, nah, bro, you know, it's like
Right.
I don't say, I have a lot of Mexican friends. I don't say vato. I don't say esse. That's theirs.
Yeah.
However, they came apart. Like, I think Jewish people should be mad that black people use ghetto. That was a Jewish term for your suffering.
That's true. It was.
The
But
ghettos is where they put y'all.
so what I've seen in the aftermath of this diss track, because there's all these YouTube reaction channels that
Yeah.
have been analyzing this. Most of the black reactors are like, man, I'm not even mad at him for saying it. It's a white dude to a white dude, whatever. I don't care.
Right.
And then here's the thing. Interestingly, the guys that seem to be the most up in arms about it, guess what their race is?
Asian.
White dudes.
Right.
White reactors are like, oh, I can't believe he said that.
But look, that's a red herring. They're not mad that the word was used. They're mad that they can't use it, or they think they can't use it,
or they want to display their virtue.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what's like if you had to say
if they're white
yes,
and they're on the right and they're offended that he used it, they're offended that why does he get to say it? That's been the staple of like, well, why do you get to say it? Well, because he can. And here's the other part. You can say it. You can.
Free speech, but speech has consequences. Yeah.
Go ahead. I might not do nothing to you.
Somebody will.
Somebody might. Like I try my best to not use. I try to use high class disrespect. So if I'm going to disrespect somebody, I want to troglodyte.
Yeah, my fellow American.
You know what I mean? Everything has
quite
to
the
be
troglodyte.
You know, it's almost like my respect and my disrespect are both, they have to be high class.
Yo, that's like here in the South when if a Southern woman says to you, bless your heart, it's like, that's very respectful, but you know exactly what that bitch is saying.
She is 100% being passive aggressive towards
Dude,
you. In Minnesota, they call that
dumbass.
Minnesota nice.
Yeah.
It's Minnesota nice. So
Midwest people.
How I feel about it, I think that it did what it was supposed to do. The fact that we're discussing it means that that's what his goal was. I'm not surprised. The dude that is using the term towards the other dude, where's he from?
Tennessee.
Like, he know he wrong.
Yeah, he did it to elicit a certain response for sure.
I bet money he don't live in the same part of if he lives,
no, he's a country boy. He
doesn't
live in
Tennessee.
Yeah, he doesn't live in like Knoxville in, you know, downtown. Yeah.
All right, so he 100% is being derogatory and he knows it.
Yeah,
and I can't co-sign that.
But it's towards a white dude,
right? But still,
that doesn't matter.
It's like one of the greatest hip hop artists of all time is Eminem, and I don't give a if people mad at me for saying this shit. Eminem could rap. I think he's anti-gun here lately, but when we talking about rap, like I know
you can separate the art from the artist. Just because you don't like my ideas doesn't mean you have to hate me. That's what we said.
And I know Royce the 5'9". We chop it up. I've interviewed him, all that other type of shit, right? Eminem does not say the N-word in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
All his friends is black. All his rearing up on 8 Mile is black and white. Nah, I'm just not saying. He might say other things in the past that I'm like, I don't know, Em. That shit was kind of wild. However, if Eminem, arguably one of the greatest lyricists of all time, has enough wherewithal to go, yo, I'm participating in a black culture, and this culture has given me everything. Like hip hop is the second time in American history that black people created an art form that did not exist. Jazz and then hip hop. It did not exist. We created it.
Yes.
that doesn't mean that white folks can't come. Like, you're not selling millions of records and white America isn't buying it. Like,
That's right.
so it's a multicultural thing in that regard. But let's be honest about the origin of where that culture is. Now, on a corporate level, there's like, okay, there's corporate entities that are mostly white and mostly Jewish that control it. And I'm not saying that as a diss to Jewish folk. I'm saying that as Steve Rifkin, Leor Cohen, like, come on, like, let's cut it the fuck out. Like, corporate
Rick Rubin,
like, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And those guys seem to not use the word. Now, if hip hop and Eminem and corporate American can go, yo, if they want to use that, they can use it. We can't use it.
Yeah.
If that's the general theme, and me having an understanding, my white homies, someone that I'm nominally, that I'm a fan of his music, he's from Philly, that I'm nominally associated with, is OT the Real. He from Philly. OT the Real is, his history is like, you would think, is this dude black in Philly? In and out of jail, like, based on the stereotype, right? He don't use it. He's like one of my favorite artists. Street shit. I listen to street shit and highly aggressive, destructive music in the gym.
Me too.
In the gym, I'm listening, motherfucker, like.
Bro, you know what I've been listening to in the gym lately is Russian gangster rap because I don't know what they're saying, and I just love the way it sounds. It's super aggressive, and I don't have to get caught up in the words. It's purely energy. Yeah.
Yo, you know what I've been listening to? It's an old ass song, but I've been listening to, it's in my playlist now in the gym. Du Hast.
Yeah, me too, bro. Yeah. And I don't know what the they're saying, and it doesn't matter.
Bro,
it's energy.
Let me be struggling, and that is the song in that rep. Let it be last 1 or 2 reps. And you better not fucking touch. I need don't touch this shit. I need every bit of this. And
you're getting those reps. Yeah.
So like, my thought process is, if this aggressive drug dealer is his story, you know, if I can listen to destructive music and this white dude that paints a picture and the details are accurate, we got the same lawyer. Like,
is he Jewish?
Without going into too much, we have the same lawyer.
Is it a Jewish lawyer?
No, he's a black dude.
Even better.
So like if he is fully immersed in it and chooses not to say it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I was just curious on your take about it, because it's like it's right now, it's all over the place. People are talking about it.
Let me ask you this. How does in being in a so-called interracial, because I believe there's a race, humans, and there's different levels of melanin.
Yeah.
In an interracial marriage, what is your wife's take on it? Like, how do y'all, is she kind of like, hey, Dave, here's the perspective, da-da-da-da, tell me what you think? Or like, how do y'all do it? Like, how does her take on it?
So on just us being 2 different races, or on like
topical issues that show up like this?
She just doesn't care about, I mean, she really doesn't, man. She's just bro, I'm telling you, she's one of the kindest, purest hearts I've ever known in my life, period. And she just, you know, obviously she talks about it, right? She's a brown girl who grew up in the South. And I'll tell you a funny story. So when we started dating in 2006, and I took her back home, my aunt owns a hair salon, and she has this clientele of all old Southern white ladies. And she had this client, Miss Ann, rest in peace. She's passed away now. I took Krista, my wife, into the hair salon to see my aunt, and Miss Ann happened to be there. She was under the thing, getting her thing done, whatever. And, you know, I introduced her to Miss Ann or whatever. Miss Ann couldn't see very well and all this. And later, my aunt comes up to me and she's like, dude, you won't believe what Miss Ann said. I was like, what? And she was like, she came up to me after y'all left and was like, Jennifer, you didn't tell me that his girlfriend was black. And my aunt was like, Miss Ann, she's not black.
Right. First
off, and secondly, why does it matter? And she's like, it doesn't. You just didn't tell me. And it's like, all right, okay, Miss Ann, you know. But the funny thing is, I tell Krista about this, and she laughs her ass off. Like, that's the kind of person she is. She ain't worried. She's like, I'm not a victim. I'm not oppressed. I mean, she's a, successful woman. She is just a human, bro.
Yeah,
like
it becomes like she's more of the ilk of like, this shit does not impact my life
at all
in any way.
It only impacts her life if she chooses to let it. Like that interaction, with Miss Ann or whatever. But she laughs about it and she's like, yeah, that's funny. Old white lady thought I was black. Whatever. Right. Who cares?
Right. So you're wrong here. And it's like, if you any type of so like I'm a fake comedian in my head. So like some of the things that I'll be laughing at.
But you
like,
got to find the funny and stuff.
Yes. Bro. I put up some content about Biden confusing the Mexican president with the Egyptian president, right? And he was like, shocked. And I was laughing and I was like, yo, the joke here is this is like the perfect joke to be like, well, they all look alike. And my team was like, bro, you can't make that joke. And I'm like, yo, but it's funny. Yeah. Like knowing Biden's history and his perspective, he's like, yeah, if you know a Mexican, you know an Egyptian. It's like, oh shit. Like,
dude, that dude is the king of racist one-liners, bro. He's the king of that shit. The king. Like, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. To go in a 7-Eleven up here in Delaware, you got to be Indian. Right. I mean, just on and on and on. It's like, how many free passes does that dude get?
Now, here's the wild shit. Me, because I know he's a puppet, and I know, like, he's not the guy.
No, he's not. Not at all.
But like the up funny fake comedian, like people don't know that I lift a lot of weights and I'm into bodybuilding and like I'm mad that Kai Green never won. Like, you know what I mean?
Me
like,
too. He should have.
Like, those are the things that I'm like, people don't know that. So like people don't know that like all my entire life I've listened to Richard Pryor, Red Fox, dude, Eddie Murphy,
the goats.
You know what I'm saying? Like Bernie Mac, like George Carlin, Louis C.K. Like they don't know that these are the things that's in my head. So like my dry and weird sense of humor, some of the things that people will be like, Maj is gonna be upset by that. I'm just like, yo, that shit is actually funny. That main man can't tell the difference between an Egyptian and a Mexican. And then I put the pictures in the content. I put the pictures, like I let them swipe in next to each other, and I'm like, yeah, well, maybe I guess he does that. I can see why he might think. And it's like, laugh at some of that shit, right? If it's clearly a dementia-riddled 81-year-old, I kind of expect it, and I'm gonna laugh at it.
Yeah, yeah.
That part I don't give a fuck about. The part that I do give a fuck about is when your bias or your bigotry or your racism, you have the power to create legislation that can impact Americans' lives.
Right.
When it's that, I'm jokes aside, you know what I mean? But when it's like the 81-year-old that trips up the steps every 2 days, when Obama was running for president, main man said he's one of the clean ones.
Yeah, well-spoken, clean. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, he's the king of the racist one-liners, bro. I'll give you another example, though. Like my wife, she's Filipina. In the summer, she gets darker than you. Yeah. And she just, she does. My daughter is the same way. Thank God she didn't get this pasty ass, shit that I got going on. But my wife gets mistaken for being Mexican and Indian by Mexican and Indian people. So if a white person mistakes her for a Mexican or an Indian, it doesn't bother her. She laughs about it because she's like, Mexicans think I'm Mexican.
Right.
Indians think I'm Indian. Like, who cares? You know, like that individual level shit.
Right.
If you can find a way to laugh at that shit and just move on,
Right.
bro, you've got the power. You've got
it's
the
like
power.
it's like catching that court case. I was laughing. And
Right.
my shorty was like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna sue him and get $3 to $5 million off this shit. I needed a Bentley. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, everybody in the jail, I knew everybody. All I did was work out and watch TV.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound bad when you look
Like,
at
I
all the
didn't
other
have
shit.
this much rest in
yeah, exactly. You drink nothing but water. You work
the
out
whole time, and it was like I get to take naps and shit. Like it was, you know. But anyway.
Anyway,
hey,
bro. All right, man. Yeah.
I
We
100% appreciate you as always.
Likewise,
Thank
man.
you. Thank you for being such an inspiration and working hard, being robust, being contextual, being objective, man. These are things that are needed in this space tremendously, man. And I just wanted to say thank you for that, man.
Well, I feel the same way about you, brother. That's why you're my favorite guest, and you're my only three-peat, dude. You're seriously one of my favorite people to talk to, and I appreciate your time, man. Everybody, go follow Maj if you don't. I know you get kicked off platforms all the time. Where are you right now? Where should people go to find you?
Follow me on Instagram, Big Daddy Toure, BIGDADDY2TOURE. I got a backup page, Maj Toure, my name, MAJTOURE, 999, three nines right behind each other. Donate to the work, guys. If anything, you got some value from the conversation today, support the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. And the website, solutionaryuniversity.org. But if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, Maj Toure 999, you'll get the link in the bio and it'll go to all of the other stuff. Thank you guys for listening. And just remember, guys, to be kind to each other. I say this all of the time. We survived one of the biggest psyops in world history. You're here, you're alive. A lot of people took their lives more than ever. And so just be kind to each other and be kind to yourselves.
Amen, brother. Thank you so much, everybody listening. I love you. Keep working hard and keep your minds free.